En 3, 2, 1, acción.
Hi, my name is Miriam, and I have an 11-year-old autistic daughter named Raquel. When she was around 4.5 years old, our life was completely miserable. She suffered from very high anxiety. We couldn't go to a mall or to a restaurant or to the movies. We couldn't even drive with her in the car without the panic attacks and the screaming, and she would bite herself from here all the way up to here. We suffered very much as a family because we couldn't be together. I had no choice but to leave her at home because the outside world was so scary. She also had no emotional connection to me as her mother or to her sister or to her father. She wasn't social and she didn't look you in the eye. She didn't turn to her name. I even thought she might have been deaf, but we got her checked out and that wasn't the case. My daughter lived in her own little world and we weren't a part of it. And it hurt. It was extremely painful for our family, for me as her mom, knowing that she had no idea who I was. We went to a doctor in the US, where we live in Panama, and he gave us many options that we tried. Just nothing really seemed to click for her. Until one day he gave us the option to go to the Brain Treatment Center. I didn't know much about it, so I went, and when we got there, they explained that they would do an EEG on my daughter to get a glimpse of how her brain was processing. And they let me know a lot about my daughter. And what they were going to do is 4 treatments of MeRT after doing this EEG to see how she responded. The second day of treatment changed our lives. The first thing I noticed was when we were in the car to go to the center, she wasn't crying, she wasn't hysterical, she was happy, and I had never seen her happy. She was 4.5, and it was the first time that I felt like my daughter was okay. And I would hold my breath in the car because I didn't want to make any noise that would startle her. And when we got there, she enjoyed the therapy, and that was pretty shocking to me. So when we went back to where we were staying, I'm in the kitchen with my husband, and she comes up to us, and she has a little cup, and she gives it to me, and she says, "Give me more juice." And those were the first words from my daughter. I had never heard her speak before then. And we were in such shock that we took the phone out and we started chasing her around the house just to see if we could get another glimpse of speech. And she walks outside, and there was a lemon tree, and she yanks a lemon from the tree and she smells it. And I remember thinking to myself, my daughter knows what a lemon is, or that it actually has smell. I didn't think she had that information, but she did. It was trapped. I don't know. So then her little sister, her twin sister, it's her little sister by 10 minutes, that's why I call her that, yanks the lemon out of Raquel's hand, and Raquel fights for the lemon and says, "That's my lemon." She says in Spanish, "Mi limón." And she starts teasing her sister, "Mi limón," my lemon. And I thought, this is the first interaction she has ever had with her sister. And we were so happy that day. We were ecstatic as a family. We couldn't believe what was happening. And it wasn't even the beginning of everything that we lived that month. We went a week after to the mall, and she could never go to the mall. Once I took her to the mall with her anxiety levels, and a man asked me if she needed an ambulance because she cried so much. So I wanted to go back to the mall. I wanted to see what would happen. And we went to Disney store, and I remember I said to her, "You can pick out a gift." And I definitely didn't think she was going to understand what I was saying, but she did. She started walking through the whole store, and she pointed the ugliest toy I'll never forget that I've ever seen in a Disney store, and she says, "Oh, I want that one." It was unreal. We were so happy. About a week later, my daughter discovers that I'm her mother. She literally discovers that I am her mother. She comes up to me and she says, "Upa." She wanted up. So I carried her. And she looks me in the eye and she parts my shoulders and she goes, "Ah!" And she hugs me. And then she parts my shoulders again and she goes, and she kisses me. And I'll never forget that sensation, the first connection with my daughter after 4.5 years. And I remember my aunt was with me and she said, gosh, it almost feels like she's meeting you for the first time. And she really was. After that day, she wanted to be with me. She wanted to try on my heels. She wanted to put on my makeup. Many things changed. Her sleep patterns, before she would wake up and we would all wake up and we had the worst nights, and she started sleeping through the night. She started following instructions. I felt like she was finally processing correctly, or she was finally understanding the world around her, so she was no longer scared to live in it. And as a family, we were the luckiest people, and we were so happy we took her to Disney, and the place where I feel like has the most stimulation in the world and visual, and she was so happy. We could finally be a family, and I am so grateful to this therapy. I remember the night before her last treatment. It was around 4 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning, and I thought to myself, I received such a miracle. I was so thankful, and I thought, I need to bring this to my country. I knew so many kids that have, and people who just needed help and tried many things and they couldn't find help. And I thought, there's a reason why my daughter changed in this way. Even if other people might not change the same way she did, because nobody is alike, no two people are alike. In her case, she changed. So I decided to start pursuing them, BTC, and it took around a year of trying to, find a way to have them open in my country, because I wanted so much to be a part of this. I wanted so much to dedicate my life to helping others just as they helped me. And after a year of Raquel's treatment, we were able to open this clinic in Panama, and more recently now in Miami. And I have dedicated myself to this. I now talk to parents every day. I share my stories, they share their stories. I share my pain and they share theirs. And this has become what I thought was the worst thing that could have happened to me, has become a blessing in my life, because it has given me purpose. And I can say that today I have very, very, very high hopes for the future of my daughter.